Hey, what's happening, guys? So last week I made a video and did a review on the zpacks carbon fiber staff. I was discussing staffs on a forum, and the general consensus was that rather than spending $125 on a staff, you should just use a stick or make a staff. I actually made a staff. I just got a $3 wooden dowel from Bunnings Warehouse. I got a little cap and I put that on the end. I found this cool crystal ball because I'm secretly like a wizard. Going out into the wilderness, climbing up mountains, and then shouting out with my staff, "You shall not pass! You shall not pass!" All right, so I know you're here to see the SuperMid. They are coming. Go! You shall not! And I'm just gonna go ahead and show you the SuperMid. Alright guys, so the reason I've got this particular staff today is because my zpacks carbon fiber staff does not reach the height or the maximum pitching requirements for this tent, and I want to show you the Laurel Designs SuperMid today, pitched at its maximum pitching height. I'm going to provide a full overview of this tent. I'm going to try and cover every feature. I'm going to show you what it's like to pitch it. I'm going to show you what it's like inside the tent, and I'm going to try and go over every feature that I think is relevant. And hopefully by the end of the video, you'll have a fairly good understanding about what the Laurel Designs SuperMid is like. And if you're interested in purchasing that tent, you could go ahead and do it. I just wanted to say that this video is not sponsored in any way by Laurel Designs. I purchased this tent at full price, and I'm doing this off my own back because I love hiking and I love gear and I love family adventure. And if you love that stuff too, guys, then hit the subscribe button. Now, I have done what Rob, who's the maker and I guess owner of Laurel Designs, I think. Anyway, I've done what he said not to do, which is permanently have the internet attached to the tent itself. Now, that's my call. And the reason I've done that is just because it's just so much easier to set up. All right, I'm gonna show you guys what it's like to pitch this tent. So I just wanted to say that this tent comes in two different materials. You can get the DCF or you can get a SilNylon. I've got mine in the SilNylon. But what's really cool is different parts of this tent still have DCF on them, and that's definitely something to consider. Obviously the nylon is a lot heavier than the Dyneema fabric that you can get the tent in. But let's check it out, guys. Here's the pitch. Got my SuperMid all staked out, ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and pitch it using my staff, or I could have used trekking poles with an adapter, but I can't be bothered with that, so that's why I use the staff. I've got it pitched, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust the guy lines to put some tension on it. All right guys, I've got her pitched as best as I can. And as you can see, this is one sizable tent. I actually really like this tent. I spent ages looking at tents. One of the things I wanted was a really large tent, and I wanted to have the option to be able to use the insert with the tent or to go without it. Having the option to remove the inner fly is really cool, especially if I want to go like really ultralight and do a bit of, I guess, more freedom style camping. It's also great for me because I've got a family. I like to take my kids out, I like to take my wife out, so I guess the bug net's really good for that. I also really like this tent because you can almost stand up in the tent. So if you wanted to get dressed or changed in the tent, you're not struggling to do that. I like this tent because it has so much room. One thing I really hate, especially about like hammock camping, is just how confined you feel inside that. And I find that's the case with bivvies and I guess smaller tents, one-person tents. So this is really cool even to use as a one-man tent. Also, at some point in the future, I want to get a dog and I want to take that dog out hiking. So having a large tent like this for a dog, especially if you want a large dog, is also really cool. I reckon one of the negatives about this tent is it's really expensive. This is really a top of the range tent, and like the pricing factor, especially if you're looking at getting the Dyneema material on this tent, you are looking at a lot of money. You're looking at like 1,400 or 1,500 Australian dollars. I think that's almost up to $1,000 US. That's a very, very expensive tent. So I did go it in the SilNylon. The problem with that is it weighs a lot more. Overall, this tent's still really light. It's 1,400 grams or 1.4 kilos. That's with the tent and the mesh. So in the SilNylon, the tent itself weighs 740 grams. In the Dyneema, it weighs 540 grams. So the inner net weight in the SilNylon is 680 grams. In DCF, it's 510 grams. So if you get this tent with entirely in Dyneema, you're looking at just over 1 kilo. One thing you should keep in mind, if you get it in the SilNylon, it does need to be seam sealed. If you get it in the DCF material, then it does not need to be seam sealed. So the height of this tent, guys, is 69 inches. It's 175 centimeters. I've got it pitched at 180, which is not recommended by Laurel Designs. The width of this tent is 275 centimeters. Guys, you're looking at a massive, massive hiking tent. This is not to be messed with, this tent. This is a monster of a hiking tent. And that's why I got it, guys. I wanted a monster of a tent. Something that I could step into at the end of a long hiking day and kick back and enjoy my space. I could take people out hiking with me. That's just the great thing about this tent. It's a 4-season tent. It's light enough to take out in summer, and it's light enough to take out in winter, and it's warm enough. It is well ventilated. As you can see right through there. The cool thing about this internet is it's coming off the ground, so you're not going to get any rain inside your tent. So one thing I'll say is it's really important to follow the instructions that Laurel Designs give when you're setting up this tent. It's best not to go outside of their recommendations. I have by about 4 centimeters in the pitch of this tent, and in some ways that's really obvious with the pitch, but that's okay. Also, it's just, I think with the SilNylon, you've just got to be really careful not to overstretch the materials, because you want to look after it and you want to make sure that the tent sticks around for a while and it's not getting wrecked, it's not getting weathered too quickly. Would I recommend buying this tent? I think if you're looking at going on a hiking trip with family and that kind of thing, then this tent's really cool for that. It's really good for that. If you're looking at going into the snow, this tent's really good for that. It's a 4-season tent. One thing you should consider if you're comparing this with like the zpacks tents, although I've never used zpacks tents, I'm still really tempted to buy like a duplex or a triplex. And that's that this is not a single walled tent. This is a double wall tent, which means it's got the outer and it's got the inner. That provides a level of versatility, but it's also, in my opinion, it's a bit of a pain in the ass because you're just mucking around with stuff, and I really do like some simplicity. I do enjoy this tent. I'm really glad I purchased this tent. It cost me around 700 Australian dollars for this tent, which is pretty expensive. There's a lot of tents out there which you can get for $700. The one thing I love about this tent, and I absolutely love it, is the fact that it only takes one hiking staff to set up the tent. It is an easy pitch, and that's especially the case after you've done it a few times. So I love the fact that I only need to bring my hiking staff and the tent's ready to go. It's ready to roll. I'm not mucking around with different tent poles. I'm not threading anything through. It's relatively simple, and the versatility of having the outer wall and the inner wall, and the ability to remove the inner is really good. So I'm excited to use this tent without the inner fly. A little bit crazy to do in Australia given snakes and that kind of stuff and spiders, but yeah. Alright guys, it's my overview of the Laurel Designs SuperMid. If you found this video helpful, then please subscribe to my channel. I'm really happy to answer any questions you might have about this tent. Just drop it in the comments below and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe away, because there's a lot of exciting things happening on this channel, guys. I'm always reviewing the newest and the latest, and unfortunately some of the most expensive gear. Yeah, and as always guys, have a great day.